Okay, so I think I left off right here where I was talking about how I think it would be pretty interesting to look at the benefits of technology for students with behavioral and emotional issues. I don't know one teacher that hasn't had experience with students with these issues, so I think that would probably be a good argument for technology if you could find the stats to back it up. All right, let's see. Preparation and support. Teachers also reported unsatisfactory levels of support and preparation for the use of technology. Ooh, that's not good. In reality, teachers who have completed their initial certification or licensure since 2000 do not believe that their pre-service programs taught them how to teach 21st century skills or how to effectively incorporate technology into instruction. I would not agree with that based on my education at Penn State, but I certainly would never claim that for everyone else. Of those who completed their initial certification or licensure since 2000, more than half reported that their initial teacher preparation programs failed them in these respects. Okay. Advanced training. 60% or more thought their advanced programs prepared them. Well, I mean, that makes sense, especially for us as EdTech master's students. That would certainly apply for us. There's a disconnect between teachers and administrators and their perceptions of the quality of support for technology in their schools. A massive 92% of administrators reported they are supportive or enthusiastically supportive of new technologies, but only 66% of teachers agreed that their administrators support new technology use. I worked for two different principals down in Virginia Beach, and I would say that one was definitely more supportive than the other, but I would never say that they look down on technology at all. My second position in Virginia Beach, I was there at my school the first year that the new principal was there as well. It was his first head principal job in the district, and he was probably the most enthusiastic person I have ever met, just about everything in general. About life, about the students, about making a difference. Like I said, I taught in a very low-income area, and a lot of the students, they had their issues, and this principal was so motivated to make a change in their lives and kind of break a cycle that these kids were involved in, and so any way that he could support us as teachers, he did. There was not a day that went by that he didn't come in the classroom. He didn't always take, formal observations and stuff like that, but he would make a point to come in my classroom every day, take a seat with the kids, and participate in the lessons. And, some days he would check on, up with me at the end of the day, like, hey, I really like how you did this, or hey, maybe we could do this a little bit more. So he was very supportive in that respect. As opposed to just the technology aspect, like I said, I had Promethean boards that I worked with, so there was already quite a bit of technology. He didn't necessarily go beyond that. Like, he didn't ever say, oh, why aren't they on the class laptops more, or, doing more projects or anything like that. He kind of saw Promethean boards as just enough, but that's not to say that he wouldn't have supported more technology. I think he just had a lot on his plate. So I can see how teachers might think that, but I never really experienced anything other than, good support from him at least. And my other principal, he was great too, just in his last year of retirement. So you can imagine the support that I got at the end of that. Anyway, administrators seem more optimistic about how well new technologies are received by teachers. 69% reported that they believe teachers are supportive or enthusiastically supportive of the use of new technologies, but a smaller majority of teachers themselves, 57%, reported being so. Not sure what to think about those stats. I think principals probably want to think the best of their teachers, and if they think that technology is the way of the future, they of course want to believe that their teachers would absolutely embrace technology and try their best to figure out how to get the students to use it in an effective way. And teachers, they might see it a little differently, just with the sheer amount of technology there is out there. They might be a little overwhelmed, so they might be a little less enthusiastic, but again, that's just my opinion. Let's see here. The report's authors suggested that the perceived shortcomings in preparation and support are keeping students from receiving some of the benefits of technology-enhanced learning, and offered several recommendations for K-12 teachers. For teachers, the authors suggested committing themselves to learning technologies and using them in their daily lives, collaborating with peers, communicating with parents, and evaluating continuing education options. Okay, I mean, I can see that. It's kind of a lot to put on a teacher, though. And I'm not saying that as, they shouldn't want to do this, but I think that they could use some support from the administration to maybe set up these continuing education options for them. So, just taking away one step for them. I know probably a lot of colleagues of mine in the past, some of the things that I brought into our collaboration meetings they had never seen before, but as soon as I demonstrated some of it, they were like, where has this been all our lives? So a lot of it is just getting introduced to that. So I think that while a lot of the burden does fall on teachers to incorporate the technology, I think a little bit of support from administrators to set up these kind of learning opportunities would be ideal. For administrators, suggestions include spending more time in classrooms. Yeah, just like my principal, I could see that. Providing teachers with sustained professional development. Okay, that, should have read that first, I guess. And involving parents. I think in my situation that would have been easier said than done, but that could work for other teachers in other schools probably. The authors also urged post-secondary educators to instruct future teachers in how to integrate technology into the classroom and to collaborate with K-12 to assess the impact. Okay, that's important, I think, that it's, all well and good to read these studies and, get these benefits, but if you're not actually measuring them in your own classroom, then how are you going to know if it's helping? I think that's an important point to make. Let's see what this quote is. Teachers have a vital role to play at the intersection of technology and 21st century skills, modeling their confidence with technology, guiding young minds toward constructive educational purposes, and teaching students to try new skills for a competitive world. That is a nice quote. I think I said I was going to go back and look at the actual study, but I think I might just save it in a new tab for later perusal. We can move this on a little bit. I guess one of the things that I would bring to the table, or try to bring to the table to a faculty meeting about integrating technology would be, math, science, and social studies resources, because that's what my meetings were with the other math, science, and social studies research, with the other teachers. So I would definitely have to research some of that. So let's look at specific subjects here. Ways to integrate math technology. That was kind of backwards. There we go. That's the right way around. Okay, let's see. Teaching today. Technology such as calculators, standard software programs, and the internet can be effectively used to enhance instruction in a number of ways. Okay, when is this from? Standard software programs. Okay. Yeah, copyright 2000, 2005. Well, let's just give it a look. It's kind of short. Allowing students to perform tedious calculations more quickly, organizing data for tables and graphs efficiently, and presenting processes and findings more clearly. Calculators. Teachers often debate whether to teach the process for using a calculator for a particular topic first, or whether to teach the mathematics first and then the calculator process. Alright, besides the fact that there are newer technologies than calculators, this article is obviously dated. Says many teachers are opting to teach the mathematical topic concurrently with the calculator process. Here are several ways students and teachers can use the calculator as an appropriate learning tool. Okay. Study aids if the calculator process is complicated. Prepare a cheat sheet for students to help them become familiar with steps they need. Alright. That's all well and good. Not exactly what I was looking for. I think I need to change my search items. I'll research ways to integrate math technology into math after I look at the benefits of it. Let's see this. This website's a little scary. Yeah, I don't think this is legitimate. Let's try this one. University of Georgia, Technology in Secondary School, Mathematics. Whoa, from 2000. Not exactly current. I believe that I was just on that one. School of Mathematics and Science. Okay. 2002. Ugh. We need some more resources here, but let's give a look at this. Instructional developers have been working for 4 decades to improve mathematics and science education, yada yada yada. So recent student achievement during this time. Most evaluation studies reported significant positive effects of instructional technology on mathematics and science learning, but not all technological approaches appear to be equally effective. Okay, well, which ones were effective? Forthcoming review. Okay, let's get down. Excuse me. Term integrated learning system refers to software programs that provide tutorial instruction at several grade levels and keep extensive records of student progress on network computer systems. Well, when I read something like that, makes me think of this program that we had at my school called Fast Math. I'm sure some of you have heard of it. It's just a program with math facts, and students have all little games that go along with learning these math facts, whether addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. They go through levels, and you can't move on until you master the one before it. I like doing that because the students really enjoyed it as well, and they obviously needed practice on their math facts, just getting the good foundation before we can move on. You'd be surprised how many of my 5th graders came into my classroom and didn't know how to multiply or divide. So we definitely had to play a little catch up, and the Fast Math program was very beneficial, I think, in developing those math fact skills. Let's see. Patrick's was pioneered in the development of this early 1960s. All right, let's get a little more current here. 16 reports published since 1990 on controlled evaluations. Effects in mathematics. 7 different vendors carry out elementary and middle school grades. Okay, again, let's get to the meat of this. Alright, each of the 16 studies found that mathematics test scores were at least slightly higher in the group taught with an ILS. In 9 of the studies, the test score superiority of the ILS group was large enough to be considered both statistically significant and educationally meaningful. That's pretty good. I think I would definitely bring that to a meeting where I was trying to, convey the benefits of using technology in the math classroom. So even though this article is somewhat older, I think it's obviously still a sound point, and could probably be supported with current figures that I would have to research further, but let's see what else it says. Median ILS effect in the 16 studies was to increase mathematics test scores by 3,800 standard deviations from the 50th to the 65th percentile. Hey, that's pretty good. Okay, this review. Simple results. 11 of the studies presented mathematics results separately. Increase in test scores, 4 test standard deviations. Again, I mean, that's pretty significant. I would present these figures, but let's see if we can get some other stuff going here. Alright, this, unfortunately, I think is still true. Research conducted during the 1990s suggests that in typical implementation, students spent only 15 to 30% of the recommended amount of time on ILS instruction. That ILS instruction is usually treated as a curricular add-on like band or art rather than an intrinsic part of the curriculum. I would have to agree with that. My little love of fast math kind of writes home this point, because I used it more of a place filler than an actual let's work hard on this. It was more of a, okay, you finished your test early, go get on fast math. Or, okay, first 5 minutes of class, get on fast math. I mean, obviously I couldn't carve out a ton of time for it, but I do agree that it was more of a curricular add-on than anything else. Alright, let's move down. Check out what they say about science. Computer tutorials. This is a little too outdated for me, for science. I think that I might skip that section. Let's look at these laboratories. Electronic sensors to collect data on physical systems. Immediately convert the analog data into digital input. I mean, that's pretty cool, but nothing I used in that 5th grade classroom. Alright, let's go back. Let's check this out. National Council of Teachers. What is the role of technology in the teaching and learning of mathematics? Technology. Central tool for learning mathematics in the 21st century, and all schools must ensure that students have access to technology. Effective teachers maximize the potential of technology to develop students' understanding, stimulate their interests, and increase their proficiency in mathematics. When technology is used strategically, it can provide access to mathematics for all students. Calculators, always the #1 technological tool for math. which is fine. Computer algebra systems, interactive geometry software. That would be cool. Didn't have any of that. Most of the technology that I used while teaching math just involved pretty much worksheets that were compiled for each lesson, just the lesson pages on the textbook, actually, into files for the Promethean board that literally we would just go through with the students. And it was interactive in the sense that I would ask a question and the student would be able to come up and, fill in the answer on the board. A little more interactive for things like, hey, build a graph for this one, and less interactive for, solve this multiplication problem, or, what are the factors of this number, that kind of thing. So while, I'm sure that's more technology than some classrooms use, it still probably wasn't the most effective. Let's see here. Use of technology also contributes to mathematical reflection, problem identification, and decision making. Cannot replace conceptual understanding, computational fluency, or problem solving skills. I like this point right here. Use of technology cannot replace conceptual understanding, computational fluency, or problem solving skills. I think a lot of people, when they think about teaching math and they think about integrating technology into math, they kind of back up on their heels a little bit because I think that people learned math a certain way when they were younger, and they believe that's the best way. A lot of that obviously coming into play with these new Common Core standards. But I think that a lot of people that were used to, hey, math flashcards, think that math flashcards are the only way to learn math facts. And I kind of can see this in some of the collaboration meetings that I was a part of, that people don't necessarily think math and technology go together because they don't want the kids to be taking shortcuts, for lack of a better word. They see, the use of technology in the math classroom as taking shortcuts and not understanding the concepts behind, division. Like, oh, I can just use this calculator and do division. Well, what actually is division? When you ask a kid and they shrug. I think that's what a lot of teachers are afraid of. So I think they make an excellent point there that, it can't replace that conceptual understanding, but, it could enhance the conceptual understanding. There's a difference, obviously. Balanced mathematics program. The strategic use of technology enhances mathematics teaching. Learning teachers must be knowledgeable, decision makers in determining when and how their students can use. Okay, let's look at, is there an actual PDF on this? Okay, no, that's the same exact thing. Yeah, I guess I would bookmark this, maybe just for a quote or two, just because of the source, the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, that might pack a punch when you outline their position. All right, let's see. Let's do benefits of social studies. Before I look at anything, I just wanted to think about technology and social studies and how I think that it really helps students, because social studies for some kids is, I don't know, it's kind of boring for some kids. It's a lot of reading the textbook and answering the questions at the end of a chapter. At least that's how I learned social studies, and I've seen it today too. Not necessarily I have engaged in it, but I think a lot of kids still learn it that way, worksheet after worksheet, and it's kind of, I guess, more of a memorization subject than anything else. And but that's why I think that maybe technology could really, spice it up a little bit for the kids, instead of just, okay, remember these, characteristics about the 5 regions in Virginia. Well, let's go on websites. Let's go explore what it actually looks like. That might help. That might help remember. Help them remember a little bit more, make better connections. All right, so let's see. Using technology, social studies classroom. Welcome to the teaching channel. Okay. Well, this is not exactly what I was looking for. Lesson objective: use the internet to broadcast school news. All right. Well, that would certainly be something for social studies. Let's woo. That's an interesting perspective. All right, well, this isn't exactly about the social studies that I was thinking, but it's extremely interesting, and I kind of like it. Yeah, I think I might actually show something like this. Preface it obviously in the correct way, not the way my thought process was going. But I think something like this could show some of the other teachers in a meeting, how, I don't know, how to keep current and how to use these social networking sites in the classroom for the curriculum. It doesn't have to be a school news site. It can be a fake news site about the Revolutionary War, Yeah, no, I think that would make for a productive discussion in a meeting. Seeing something like this, I would have to watch the rest of the video, but yeah, it's inspiring. I was a little skeptical when I first started watching it, but I think I actually do care for this site. I'm going to look for some other videos. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I would use for sources and for points of emphasis if I went into a meeting trying to promote using technology in the classroom. The next video I make will, illustrate the opposite point, but I think this would be a good start in getting some points to these teachers that I'd be speaking to. So